Welcome back, agents, to another episode of Prime Tips. This time we're talking about scanning again, community scans, something that is just recently added to the scanner. So if you've upgraded to version 2.90, which you probably have, or it's done it for you, you had the community scanning enabled. So they enabled the portal scan meter, which we'll take a look at, and agents can collectively contribute 7 portal scans per septicycle to schedule a rare battle beacon on the scanned portal after the septicycle ends. Now, I kind of screwed that up when I went in the videos. I was figuring that it's something that happened right away, so we'll correct that as we go. But it is something you can schedule to have it happen, but you have to do 7 scans within 1 septicycle. And then we'll see that there's an indicator saying that, hey, you can launch that thing now whenever the end of that septicycle, or just cycle as we usually say, happens. If you keep going and you and a number of agents, or just you get 13 portal scans on 1 portal within 1 septicycle, a portal fracker will be deployed immediately right after the 13th upload. So I don't think you have to be right there when you do that upload, but in this case, that would be really good to be there because the fracker is going to go off just as soon as you upload that last one. So we'll take a look at a couple of videos showing you how it's done in the field, and here we go. Agent Dewey J in the field. We're going to be looking at community portal scans. So portal scanning has been around for a while. They've added something new, so we're going to take a look at it, and we'll do a couple of scans and see how it works. So I'm at a portal. I want to scan it, and this is a rather large portal. I'll hit the picture in the upper right hand corner. You can see that it's basically a shelter. So it's one of those that you probably couldn't scan in one pass unless you go really fast. And that's what I meant by a large portal. Not that it's a portal that has a lot of people that come in and out of it and things like that. Physically, it's a large structure. So these community scans are probably good for those type of portals because it may take 3 or 4 scans, as I will say here, to get it all in. It may not be good for, like, a plaque or a sign. So this is a good one to do community scans for. And you notice at the bottom of the screen we have the community scans upload sitting at 0 out of 7. So when we get 7 of them, we'll get a battle beacon that will be available that we can deploy on this location during this cycle. And at the end, if we go 13, so if we did a full 13 of them, we would have a fracker pop up on this. But I'm going to go ahead and do a scan. I'll start the scan and probably come back later. And since I've reset the data and stuff on this, it'll go through the whole scan portal beginning. So I'm going to hit the scan button. Again, I probably would get a, hey, do you want to share information with your Android? I would have said yes. So here it's giving me the information about staying aware of your surroundings. Scan the portal by moving around it or past it. And I'll say next. And then it says be aware, so I'm going to look at it. And you might notice in the upper left-hand corner, it has a rectangle with a direction. So an arrow that goes left. So it's telling me that it wants me to scan going left. In the upper right-hand side is the grid scanning, which I can't really show you because the phone that I'm using doesn't support it. It doesn't have the Adreno, I think it's 54. It doesn't have the graphics chip to do that. Yeah, and one other thing that you might notice if you watch this particular scan, down in the lower portion, you'll see that grid kind of pop up. And I did play with that grid scanning a little bit, and you can go through the whole process of doing it, and you can see the markers and everything. Just that whenever you finish, you can't do anything with it, and it just throws that scan out. So hopefully we'll get an updated phone, and we'll show you a little bit more about the grid scanning. But here we go again. So I'm going to go ahead and start a scan, and we'll see how it goes. I don't expect to scan the entire thing. That's one of the things about the community scans that might be better, is that I can get part of it, and then I can pick up and do the rest of it on something else. So I'm just going to get like the front portion of this particular building or shelter, and There we go. And then I can upload now or upload later. I'm going to go ahead and say upload later. And being deployed at the end of the SEPTA cycle after the 7th portal scan upload. So notice that it hasn't done anything to kick that number up because I haven't uploaded that scan yet. And also you'll notice that it doesn't show any scans. It doesn't necessarily, it's not showing my scans, it's showing all scans on this particular portal during this particular SEPTA cycle. So if I happen to go scan one and somebody's uploaded, say 2 or 3, I might see 2 or 3 already there when I first get there, which should be helpful. So we'll come back, I'll upload some scans and we'll see where we're at. Okay, I've moved locations and there's a reason for that. I moved to a location where I can hop on Wi-Fi because with community portal scans, you want to upload all of that information. And if you happen to be on a program with your phone that you're limited in your data, that could eat up that data and cause an issue. So I've gone into settings and I go down and I look at uploading, and you notice I have 5 contributions pending to upload, which make for 6 total. And those uploads are 499 megs. So if you've got a limited amount of data and you're doing a lot of portal scans, especially if you're the only one doing the portal scans, that could be a real problem, that it's going to eat up your data. So I'm going to hit start the portal scan, and I'm purposely on a high-speed network connection, and I've turned off my mobile data. That way it won't eat up that data. So this is going pretty fast because I'm uploading, nearly half a gig of data. So it's going, and you notice I have a manage button. When I hit manage, it'll show me which ones that it is uploading. And so it's just, showing me the picture of the portal, but then I get an idea of how much for each individual scan am I uploading. So we're going to go ahead and let these go all the way through, and then should be at a point that I can go back and do one last scan, and then we should see the mechanism that will give us the battle beacon. I don't think I'm going to do enough scans to get the fracker. The difference with the fracker is that when you complete the 13th one, it goes right away. So you have to be ready for that and have people in place, so to say, and ready to use that portal fracker. So we're finishing up the scan, and we'll come back to all the scans are completed. And then I'm going to hit close, and I'm back. And you'll notice again, I don't see any uploads because I don't have any waiting. So back out into the field to get the last scan. And that brings up another thing that, you don't necessarily have to do all these scans in one swipe. It's one SEPTA cycle. So that SEPTA cycle is 7 and about a third days. So you have a week to get them all done. So if there's a portal that, you pass by on a regular basis, you may scan it once or twice. Maybe it's something during your lunchtime. But you may need to plan when you want that fracker to go off, and do that, of course, when you have other people that are around, as we'll see here in a second. Okay, I've just finished the last scan, and I could hit upload now, but I'm going to say upload later so we can go back through that process so you can see how that works. Also, you can see a little bit of a difference. So you can see that it's telling me 6 of 7 are completed, and then I'm waiting for that one. It says portal fracker will be deployed immediately after the 13th, so we're not going to get the 13th this time. So I'll back out and then go into my settings, and now if I slide down a little bit, upload all. I got one contribution, so I will upload that contribution, and it says it's about 96 data. It says probably be better if I did that on Wi-Fi, but I will go ahead and upload it now so we can kind of see in the field what it looks like. Again, depending upon your data package, it might be better to do this when you are connected to Wi-Fi like it says. The only time that you might want to do this last one in the field, so to say, like we're doing here, is if you're doing the 13th one and the portal fracker goes off. And again, you probably would like to have some people with you
whenever that portal fracker goes off, so that you can make the most out of what's going to be given by that particular portal.
And one other thing that probably works, I didn't really test this one, is it doesn't really matter who uploads that 13th scan. So it could be a situation that you have somebody that has the 13th scan, they're unable to be at the location, but it makes sense to me that they don't have to be at the location when they upload that 13th scan. So maybe you have 6 or 7 agents that are there at the portal, or 2 or 3, probably more likely, and the person that has the last scan is 10, 15, 20 miles away. All they have to do is keep in contact with you and say, hey, I'm going to upload the last one, and then you should see that portal fracker just automatically start.
So yeah, you notice it is going a little bit slower, but we should eventually hit our 100% mark on that last one. And again, this will be our 7th scan of this particular portal. And in this case, I took some tighter ones on the inside, and then I went out further away and did the outer scan, I guess, an outer area, so that it had it all in there. So you don't have to scan exactly the same thing. As a matter of fact, I would suggest you don't scan exactly the same thing. Scan portions of it. Do a third of it. Do a quarter of it. Do it a little further away, because I should be able to stitch all of that together and make a good 3-dimensional representation of that object.
And also, one of the other things I didn't mention here is it doesn't have to be exactly during the same time of day. So maybe they want things under different lighting conditions. So morning versus evening, the golden hour would be great because the sunlight and the shadows are best. But it doesn't all of those don't have to be contiguous, so to say, because from my understanding is they use the information from those scans and put the stuff together
whenever they use those scans. So here we go, getting closer. 90%. It is a little slower in the field, folks. 95%, 97. We're getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. And portal contribution uploads complete. Okay, so I will get out and get out. And now I will go in and...
Now notice that I don't say much about this in the video itself. There is a new graphic that is around that particular portal. And my assumption is that is telling us that we can schedule now that battle beacon on that particular portal at the end of the septicycle. Now, I kind of get it wrong when I talk about it here a little bit later. And I mentioned that, I'm looking and it looks like I may have got one. I didn't really keep track of it. So that symbol, the arrow with the dots, will give you an idea that, hey, this is one that you can put that battle beacon on. So again, you want to make sure that you're choosing a portal that you will be around again at the end of that septicycle. It might be nice to finish this off at the end of the septicycle, or finish off your 13th at the end of the septicycle, and that way you can use the portal fracker and the battle beacon and do a lot in one time period.
Look at that portal, and notice it says scan upload now 7 out of 13. So that should have given me a battle beacon.
And you might also notice on that image that before it was showing almost all the way over the 6th one, so it was showing pretty much a complete line or graphic saying that, hey, that you've got everything that you need. And when you get to the 7th one, that graphic goes back to the middle, because now it's looking at how many you need to hit the 13 for the fracker.
And you notice that it has a different indicator on it now, saying that, hey, you probably need to scan this. I guess that's the symbol for scanning the portal.
And I guess it could be. I mean, it's somebody sees that, they're like, okay, this should be sitting at least at 7 scans. Let's throw 6 more and get our fracker. So it could be an indication that way for you as well.
And if I go into my inventory.
And I'm not going to go on with that because it's my guesses, and my guesses are wrong at that point. So there you have it. I mean, that's one of the things that they've added with the 2.90 version of the scanner. You can do those community scans. There also is something else they call dynamic links, which sounds like, I know when we talk about linking, we think about linking portals and making fields. Dynamic links is something totally different, which we'll talk about that at another time. So there you have it. I hope that